This video is titled Unlock Precise Secrets on How to Attract What You Want. Almost everything that you have in your life came to you through the channels of people. Now, I know that might seem ridiculously obvious to you, especially at the beginning of this discussion, but I want you to start this discussion grounded rather than orienting toward like a magical idea that abundance is going to come through you some supernatural means, such as waking up in the morning and finding a briefcase on your doorstep that's filled with money. Because I've actually had people tell me that's exactly what they were expecting to happen. They thought there was going to be some kind of a supernatural miracle. And I don't want to preclude that there could be wonderful serendipitous occurrences, but they're not really the normal channels through which abundance comes. And the nature of the way life works is it mirrors back to you what you put out. So take, for instance, that you want to be aligned with abundance, free time, a nice home, a new car, and other toys to make life fun. There are definable ways to get into all of those things. And the first step is figuring out what you want and stating it. Many people have kind of a vague idea of what they want. But if you don't even think about what you want, how likely is it that you're going to arrive where you want to be? Nobody would start on a trip without taking a look at a map or planning out a route. And the same thing applies to life. So, step one, identify and declare your desires. The journey begins with clarity. What exactly do you want? Now, really think about this for a minute. It's not enough to have a vague idea. You really need to write down your goals and envision them vividly and speak them out loud. Because by clearly defining what you want, you set a powerful intention. And when you combine your intention with strong positive feelings, then you have magnetized the forces of attraction to bring you the resources that will enable you to manifest what you want. So ask yourself this: when was the last time that you articulated your dreams with absolute precision and clarity? And how did that feel? Now let's take a real-life example. You obviously need a place to live, right? So let's say that you determine that you want to live in a new house. Well, there's a lot of planning, examining options to define what you want. You need to plan out where you want to live, what style of house you prefer, what you want to include in the property. And I'll tell you a personal example of how this worked in my life. Years ago, I decided to create a vision board in the form of a scrapbook of the house that I wanted. And I went around looking through a lot of magazines, and I found pictures of houses and yards and furnishings and landscaping and location ideas and whatnot. And so for months, I would look at those pictures, I'd flip through the pages and look at all those pictures and hold an intention of bringing it to me. Well, I did that for several months. And then I put the book away and decided to relax and just trust the law of attraction. Now, one day, over a year later, I was cleaning out the attic, and I ran across a box of old books, and I found the scrapbook, and I had forgotten about it. When I opened it, I discovered a picture of a house that was almost identical to the one that I was living in. And that house had a very unusual floor plan. So it was a whole lot more than coincidence. In fact, I'd never seen a house quite like this one. So I was startled. I dropped the book. The forces of attraction and creation found a way to bring it to me. But it did take more than a year. So getting a picture in your mind of what you want is the second key after determining what you want. It helps to keep you focused on what you want. The first step is, of course, determining what you want. Now let's take the example of getting a new car. You want to set the parameters to include bringing the car to you with little or no financial impact on the rest of your life. So in other words, you don't want to liquidate your life savings to satisfy a desire for an expensive new car. You want the car to enter your life in such a way that you don't have to sacrifice to have it, right? So if you want a new car, imagine the model, the color, and this is very important. How does it feel to drive that car? Feeling is a very important part of this process. Step 2, align your consciousness. Once you know what you want, the next critical step is aligning your thoughts and beliefs with your desires. So that means eliminating doubts and fears. So ask yourself, do you really believe you deserve what you're asking for? Do you fear losing it once you get it? For example, if you are desiring a loving relationship, but subconsciously you fear getting hurt, this fear can block your manifestation. Examine your inner beliefs about what you want and practice positive affirmations and positive thinking to reinforce your beliefs in your deservedness and the ease of achieving your goals. So, for example, instead of thinking, I sure hope I get what I want, you say, I am ready and deserving of this promotion, or of this car, or of this home. There has to be an alignment in your consciousness with the car and the home and the relationship and your ease of it coming into your life. Just like when you plant a seed, you know a plant's going to emerge, and if the conditions are okay, it's going to flourish. There's an innate quality within the seed and also within you that holds the potential for whatever you want. But you must align your intention with whatever that manifestation is, with your inner beliefs and your expectations and your intentions in order for you to bring it into manifestation. So if you have a focus on what you don't want, you have the wrong soil for what you do want to grow. Because if you're thinking about what you don't want, I remember this one person I knew, and she kept thinking, I'm afraid I'll become a homeless person. Well, she didn't quite go that far, but she came pretty close, and she ended up losing a lot of what she had. What happens is you end up energizing what you don't want. I remember a woman I knew one time who was an executive who was under a lot of strain and stress at work. And I was listening to her for a few months, and she kept saying, I need a break. Oh, I'm under so much stress. I just need a break. And guess what happened? She broke her arm. She broke her right arm, and she was right-handed. So there was a lot of things she couldn't do for a few weeks while the broken arm was healing. So you want to be careful of what you're thinking about, and you want to be careful that you're not energizing something that you don't want. And the subconscious mind is pretty literal, as in the case of the person asking for a break. Well, she got her break. She was able to certainly back off from a lot of her responsibilities, but she paid a price for it too. So we want it to come with ease, and we want it to come very naturally and automatically. So if there's any counter thoughts, such as you don't deserve to have what you want, or you have bad luck, or you don't have the right parents, or you have some other negative ideas, you need to clear those. The process is both a matter of having your consciousness focus on the result that you want, while you clear away any obstacles to it coming to you. And that's the third step. The third step is clear obstacles. Clearing internal and external obstacles is essential. These could be limiting beliefs, negative emotions, toxic relationships. Imagine wanting to run a marathon, but carrying a heavy backpack. And the doubts and the fears and the negative influences are like the backpack. Remove them, and you'll move much more freely toward your goal. In fact, when you take that backpack off, sometimes you'll feel like you can fly. So engage in some self-reflection meditation, or seek guidance to identify and release these blocks. Ask yourself, what obstacles are you carrying that might be hindering your process? Keep your focus on what you want and continually look at what you are thinking and doing throughout the day. And you ask yourself, is what I'm thinking and doing right now leading me to what I want? If you're whining and complaining, I can guarantee you it's not. Pay attention to any lingering negative thoughts that undermine you receiving and keeping what you want. A renowned French naturalist named Jean-Henri Fabre conducted a really interesting experiment with processionary caterpillars. Processionary caterpillars move through the forest in long processions feeding on pine needles, and they derive their name from their habit of following the lead caterpillar, each with its head pretty much butted right against the rear end of the preceding caterpillar, and their eyes are closed, and they just kind of move along wherever that lead caterpillar takes them. So what Fabre did was he demonstrated this very unusual behavior with a very simple experiment. He took a flower pot and he placed a number of the caterpillars in single file around the circumference of the pot's rim. Each caterpillar's head touched the caterpillar in front of it. And he put their favorite food in the center of the flower pot. And he thought that after going around the circle a few times, the caterpillars would discover the predicament and tire of their endless progression and go after the food that was just a few inches away from them. But they never varied from their path. Through a force of habit, the caterpillars mindlessly kept moving relentlessly around the pot, hour after hour, day after day, night after night, for a period of 7 days. And they would have continued even longer if they had not stopped from sheer exhaustion and hunger. After a week of this mindless activity, the caterpillars started to drop dead because of exhaustion and starvation. They died walking in circles inches from their food. And all they had to do to avoid death was to stop circling the flower pot and go a few inches to the food, which was less than 6 inches away. They were unquestioningly following their instincts and habits built on their past experience, the way that they had done and their ancestors had always done. And in reality, they got nowhere. The whole time, they were going in circles. Now, I'm sure that you've heard the saying that it's a form of insanity to do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. It's pretty easy to confuse motion with meaning and activity with achievement. It's easy to get in a rut, and those ruts can become vicious circles. Creating what you want comes from being focused on what you want. This is what enables you to clear away what you don't want, because you're not putting anything and any energy into what you don't want. You won't energize what you don't want. Now all of your energy is going into the intentions of what you do want, and you're fully focused on what you want. So there's nothing left to create what you don't want. Prior to realizing this, it's the other way around. Most people are focused on what they don't want. And that is where the creative energy goes. Now, I know you've heard about the law of attraction, but if you find yourself complaining about not having what you want, or by complaining about having something you don't want, you're succeeding in proving the law of attraction works. But in these cases, the law of attraction is working against your wishes. So the question of your lifetime is, what do you really want? And the follow-up question is what you are thinking and doing right now leading you to getting what you want? And now let's put this into practice. Step 4, take inspired action. Finally, while thoughts and beliefs set the stage, action moves the creative energy forward. Taking inspired action means doing things that motivate you and align with your desires and intentions. If you want to improve your health, this might mean adopting a new exercise program or making some dietary changes. These actions should feel right and energizing, not forced or stressful. For example, if your goal is to enhance your spiritual life, you would perhaps attend a meditation retreat, or try a variety of meditation approaches, or listen to some guided meditation audio programs, or read inspired content daily that inspires you. Next, to apply this in practical terms to your life, think of one thing that you want in each of 4 areas. I'm going to give you an example of each. I want you to formulate your own list of wants. For your material world, write down what the home is like that you would like. What do you want to have in your life with regard to your home and maybe your furnishings and where it's located? So you would put it in a statement like this. I want to live in a place, in a home, like the one I have pictured in my mind. And you have a clear picture of it. The second area is think of what you want in a relationship. Something like, I want a loving and supportive relationship with a person who wants the same. Simple enough, but very clear. Thirdly, what do you want in terms of your health? Again, it's pretty simple. I want to be healthy, vital, and energized. And the fourth area is your spiritual life. I want to live an enlightened life that is peaceful, happy, and loving. Now, once you are clear on what you want to manifest, you engage in holding the intention and enthused energies to support what you want. This is actually a big secret to automatically creating what you want. Because here's an important fact. You are already automatically creating and attracting, but probably not everything that you want. Because you might be thinking about what you don't want. And so you subconsciously put energy into attracting what you don't want. And what I am describing here is a way for you to take control of the creation process. If you are focused on getting what you want, then you'll be at the right place at the right time, doing the right things, because you won't be putting your energy into what you don't want. Just like planting a seed. An acorn, a little acorn, has within it the wanting to be a tree. And so over a period of time, that acorn will become a tree. But as you know, it doesn't become a tree instantaneously. And not many things are instantaneously, and that's okay. That's part of the joy of living. The process focuses all your energy and all your intentions on positive creation. So some people will say, I'm already doing all of this, but I still don't have what I want. Well, There is a key here as to why the use of intention doesn't always appear to work for everyone. What people think their intention is actually focused on what they don't want. And so all of the positive energy that they put into creating what they do want is dismantled by their fear of getting what they don't want, or their belief that they only deserve something that they don't really want. So they might say, I don't want to be poor. I don't want to drive a 25-year-old car. I don't want to be stuck in a loveless relationship anymore. They think that their intention is to get out of what they don't want. So what they end up doing is energizing what they don't want. And they never quite get to what they do want. It's always a little bit out of reach. It's like the carrot dangling at the end of the stick. In fact, by focusing energy on what you don't want, you energize people in your life to deliver to you what you don't want. Remember, I opened this discussion with the statement that everything that you have in life came to you through people. Well, if you have the belief that you don't want certain things to be in your life that you have in your life, you're going to be energizing and literally putting out the program to other people to deliver what you don't want. Now, with this program that I'm describing, you'll find yourself in a positive flow. You will be positively supported by the nature of life itself. Your life becomes like an ever-blossoming rosebush, opening more and more flowers, making a huge bouquet. This is a step up for your evolution, and it will affect every aspect of your life. It takes you to a new level of living. It gives you a new definition to be fulfilled. Filled full with fulfillment and fun. And this applies to every area of your life, your career, people and friendships, relationships, possessions, activities, and of course, your spiritual consciousness. So, the two questions to ask yourself numerous times throughout your day are, what do I want from this experience? And the follow-up, is my action leading me to having what I want? Your answers to those two questions will keep you on course. And I have other videos on the subject and a number of audio programs on the subject of abundance and manifestation, such as my large program called Decoding Abundance. It's on my website, jonathanparker.org. Just click on the free resource tab and then drop down to the Prosperity and Success link, and you'll find a lot of resources there for you. See you next time.